the weakest species, the grand arena of Zortak's prime was louder than ever. Thousands of aliens filled the seats, their eyes glowing, their voices echoing through the giant stadium. Flags from different planets waved high. This was the final match. Of the intergalactic combat games, every race in the galaxy was watching. On the red side of the arena stood Galactic, the Crusher, 9-foot-tall beast from the warlike species, the Korgans. His armor was made of dark steel. His muscles looked like mountains. He had never lost a fight. Commentators shouted his name. Galactic, champion of 9 systems. And on the blue side walked a human dot, just a man. He wore no armor. He held no weapon. His body looked small and weak compared to Galactic. Some aliens laughed. Others were confused. Why is a human here? Is this a joke? They're too weak to fight. Even the alien commentators joked. Ladies and gentlemen, or whatever species you are, today we may witness the fastest defeat in combat history. The human stood still. He said nothing. His face was calm. His eyes studied Galactic with curiosity, not fear. High above, the Emperor of Zortax gave the signal. A loud horn blew. The match had begun. Galactic roared and charged forward. The ground shook with each step. In less than 2 seconds, he stood before the human. He lifted his huge hand and slammed it across the human's face. The sound echoed across the arena. Some aliens cheered. Others flinched. But the human did not fall. He took the hit. His body turned slightly, but he remained standing. Slowly, very slowly, he turned his head back toward Galactic. His nose was bleeding, but his eyes were glowing. Blue, suddenly. Silence filled the stadium. The crowd went quiet. Time seemed to slow. 1 second passed. The human raised his hand. 2 seconds, Galactic stepped back, confused. What are you? 3 seconds. The human moved. In 3 seconds the galaxy changed. The human's hand blurred. He struck Galactic's chest with a light tap. But it wasn't light. Galactic's armor shattered. The force lifted the giant off his feet and threw him. Across the arena he landed with a crash. Dust filled the air. No one moved. No one spoke. The strongest warrior of 9 systems was lying on the floor, unconscious. The human stood alone in the arena, calm, quiet. One of the alien generals whispered, "What did we just see?" Another replied, "That was not normal. No human should move like that." In the Emperor's balcony, his advisors panicked. Did Earth create a super soldier? Is this the beginning of a new threat? Across the galaxy, live broadcasts showed the moment again and again. The hit, the silence, the fall of Galactic. Some racers laughed at the Korgans' defeat. Others feared what might come next. In the corner of the arena, a small alien child asked, "Papa, are humans strong?" The father, a wise elder, did not answer. He just stared at the human, still standing tall. Security bots rushed toward the arena. Medical teams came to help Galactic, but everyone's eyes remained on the human. He said nothing. He looked up once, toward the camera drone flying above him, and then he smiled. That smile was not of pride. It was not evil. It was quiet. A smile that said, "You never saw us coming." Back on Earth, 20 hours earlier. A secret facility deep under the Rocky Mountains. Scientists in white coats. Computers flashing strange symbols. A human subject, calm, focused, being prepared for something big. A voice on the speaker. "Agent Cade, this is not just a test. This is history. Cadet, same man who now stood in the grand arena, nodded once. I understand. He wasn't just any human. He was trained for years. Chosen for a reason. Earth knew it was seen as weak, poor, primitive, a joke among the stars. But Earth was patient. While other species fought wars, Earth watched. It learned. It studied. And now it had sent a message. Not through war, not through fleets, but through one man, one punch, 3 seconds. Back in the arena, commentators didn't know what to say. The human raised his hand, a polite wave. Then he walked out of the arena, leaving the galaxy in shock. Some aliens clapped. Others stared, still confused. The human didn't care. The message was sent, and this was only the beginning. Asterisk, the counter-stricketh news of Galactic's defeat spread faster than light, across the stars. Screens repeated the same scene. A small human, standing alone while the galaxy's strongest warrior lay broken on the floor. Most couldn't believe it. Some said it was fake. Others thought it was a trick. But it wasn't, and the fear began to grow in the grand arena. Galactic still lay unconscious. Medical bots hovered over him, scanning his body. Bones shattered, ribs broken, nervous system shocked, heart rate unstable. How could a single human do this? Alien doctors had no answers. His armor was built to stop missiles, yet the humans' bare hand crushed it like paper. Meanwhile, the human agent Cade was escorted through underground tunnels, not as a prisoner, but as a guest. He walked silently, hands behind his back, eyes calm. A tall alien general followed him nervously. He had 10 eyes, but each one focused on Cade with fear. You will be taken to the VIP chamber, the general said, until the council decides what to do. Cade said nothing. His silence spoke louder than words, far above the arena. In the Council of Worlds chamber, chaos was unfolding. 12 alien leaders argued. He is a weapon. He must be removed. But how? He defeated Galactic in 3 seconds. What if Earth has more like him? The oldest among them, a being made of glowing light, raised a hand. Silence, it said. We must not act in fear. We must understand. But understanding was difficult when your strongest fighter just got dropped like a child. Back on Earth, inside the underground facility where Cade trained, alarms were flashing. One of the generals, General Harlow, stood before a large hologram of the galaxy. Red markers were blinking. They're scared, she said, and scared enemies are dangerous. Her assistant nodded. Should we activate the others? Not yet. Let's see what Cade does. She smiled slightly. We trained him for this moment. Let's see what the galaxy learns. Inside his room on Zortax Prime, Cade sat alone. No guards, no chains. He didn't need weapons. His body was the weapon. He looked out the window at the stars. A soft knock came at the door. It slid open. An alien girl stood there. Small green skin, big yellow eyes. You're the human, she asked. Cade nodded. Why did you hit Galactic? Smiled gently. He hit first. The girl blinked. But he always hits first. That's how Korgans are. Then maybe it's time someone hit back. She looked at him curiously. Are all humans like you? Cade paused. No, he said, but they could be. Meanwhile, deep in a warship orbiting Zortax, 3 alien commanders held a secret meeting. We can't let this human leave the planet. One said, if Earth has more like him, the balance of power will shift. Then we must strike Earth first, said another, before they strike us. A plan was forming, not diplomacy, not questions, an attack. The next morning, the council called for a public hearing. Billions watched across the galaxy. Cade stood in front of the 12 leaders. The oldest council member asked Human, "What are you?" Cade answered clearly. "I'm one of many, trained, focused, ready. Are you threatening us?" "No," Cade said calmly, "but I am warning you." Murmurs filled the chamber. "We never saw humans as dangerous." Another member said. "That was your mistake," Cade replied. "You saw us as weak, so we had to become stronger. Why reveal yourself now?" the council asked. Cade looked around to stop what's coming. "You all want war. We want peace. But if you push Earth," he stepped forward, "you will learn what happens when the quiet ones fight back." Back on the warship, the secret plan moved forward. A fleet of 20 destroyers, 9 bombers, and 3 dreadnoughts was set to launch toward Earth. They called it Operation Silence. But there was one problem. Earth already knew, as the alien fleet exited hyperspace near Earth's orbit. They saw nothing. No defense ships, no weapons, just a quiet blue planet. They smiled. Too easy. But then one of the pilots screamed. Thousands of small satellites around Earth began to glow. Not weapons, not machines, humans in zero-gravity suits, eyes glowing blue, hands charged with energy. The hidden army of Earth. Cade, still on Zortax, looked up toward the stars. He closed his eyes. A whisper left his lips. "They're here." The council didn't understand, but they would soon, back in space. The alien fleet panicked. Ships exploded. One by one, the humans didn't use missiles. They didn't need to. They moved between ships like shadows, fast, silent, precise. One human punched a dreadnought and it split in half. Another disabled 10 fighters with a single hand motion. The galaxy had never seen power like this. The attack failed in less than 5 minutes. Earth had won. Without saying a word, back in the arena, Cade received a message through a hidden earpiece. Enemy fleet destroyed, all safe. He nodded once, then looked at the council. "This is your second warning." The truth about humans, the council chamber was silent. No one spoke, no one blinked. They had just received the news. Earth had destroyed a full alien fleet in 5 minutes without using ships. Without firing a single missile, it was impossible. But it happened, and the human named Cade had warned them. General Vorak, a 6-armed reptilian leader, leaned forward. "Who trained these humans? Where did they get this power?" No one had answers. But deep beneath the surface of Zortax Prime, hidden from public eyes, a secret vault began to open. Inside, there were files, old, forgotten, labeled, Project Silent Earth, a group of scientists, historians, and spies. Gathered around, one of them, a pale-skinned alien with glowing veins, began to read, and the truth began to unfold. 80 years ago, humanity was still new to the galactic stage. They had just built their first faster-than-light ship. When the Galactic Council first contacted Earth, they found a simple race. Curious, emotional, unorganized. Some laughed, primitive, too emotional, too soft. But one race didn't laugh. The Zerania cold, ancient species of data collectors. They watched, they studied, and they saw something others didn't. Humans could adapt faster than any species, where others evolved over thousands of years. Humans learned in decades, sometimes in months. They didn't have thick skin. They didn't have claws. But they had something better, their will. In secret, Earth's governments came together. They knew they were being watched and underestimated, so they created Project Resonance, a new kind of training, not just physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual. They studied old martial arts, mixed them with new science, blended meditation with tech, strength with silence. The result? Resonant humans, soldiers who could tap into a hidden part of their biology, a source of energy that only awakened under extreme focus or emotion. Cade was one of the first, taken as a child, not forced, but chosen. He was calm, quiet, always listening, while others chased power. Cade chased control, and he found it. His body became faster, stronger, sharper, but his true strength was not in his muscles, it was in his mind. He could read the rhythm of others, predict their moves, feel their fear before they acted, and in silence he trained, for years, until the day Earth sent him into the galaxy. Not to attack, but to warn. Back in the council, the old light being, Elder Thalos, closed the final page of the project's Silent Earth file. He looked up. We made a mistake. Another leader whispered, Earth was never weak. No, Thalos said. They were quiet. At that same moment, across the galaxy, panic began to spread. News channels showed footage of the destroyed fleet. Alien citizens demanded answers. Who are the humans, really? Why didn't we know their power? Are we in danger? Inside war rooms, governments discussed emergency plans. Some wanted to attack Earth before it was too late. Others wanted peace talks, but it was too late for easy choices. Inside a hidden chamber in Earth's moonbase, 4 humans sat around a dark table. All were resonant operatives. One asked, should we strike first? Cade's voice came through a small hologram. No, he said, not unless they strike again. We are not conquerors. But they're planning to attack, another said. Cade replied calmly, then let them come. Meanwhile, one curious alien historian named Selen began looking deeper into human history. She watched old Earth recordings, wars, peace marches, revolutions, art, sacrifice, and something clicked. These humans, they are chaos and order combined, she whispered. They fight, but they also love. They destroy, but they rebuild faster. They're not strong because they're fearless. They're strong because they're afraid and they act anyway. Selen took her report to the council. In the grand chamber, she stood in front of the 12 leaders. I have studied the humans, she said. I understand now. They don't win because of power. They win because they refuse to lose. On Zortax Prime, Cade stood at the edge of a high balcony, looking at the stars. A young alien soldier approached him. Why didn't you destroy the fleet yourself? He asked. Cade didn't turn around. Because I didn't need to. Why not? Cade closed his eyes. Because Earth doesn't stand on one man. We stand together, silent, waiting, watching. And when the time is right, we move. In hidden places, other humans began to rise. Some lived on alien worlds, pretending to be traders, travelers, scientists. Each one trained, each one resonant, each one resonant, each one waiting. The galaxy thought there was only one Cade. They were wrong. There were thousands. Asterisk. Fear spreads among stars. Fear had a smell, And across the galaxy, every planet, every capital, every council room was drowning in it. After the fall of Galactic, after the failed surprise attack on Earth, and after the reveal of Earth's hidden strength, the galaxy had changed. Once, humans were considered a joke. Now, they were a warning. In the capital of the Turned Dominion, leaders gathered in a secret hall carved inside a frozen moon. One of them, an old warlord with metal skin, slammed his claw. On the table, we waited too long. They fooled us with silence. Now they stand above us. Another, a cloaked intelligence commander, spoke calmly. It wasn't silence, he said. It was patience. They waited until we called them weak. Then they showed their truth. The room went quiet. A third leader whispered, "What do we do now?" Meanwhile, in the streets of Yellenix, a city planet full of traders and criminals, posters of Cadet appeared on black market screens. A human standing tall, fists glowing. Blue, the caption read, "The galaxy changed in 3 seconds." Some feared him, some admired him, and some wanted to be him. Aliens began copying human fighting styles. Black market scientists sold fake resonant serums, promising to unlock human-like powers. Chaos began to grow. The fear of humans didn't only shake governments, it cracked the streets. To dot inside a massive research station orbiting Dracona, scientists studied a video of the human counterattack. They slowed it frame by frame. But no matter how much they zoomed in, the results stayed the same. Humans moved faster than machines, hit harder than tanks, and fought without fear. One scientist stood back. "This isn't just biology," she said. "This is something deeper." Another replied, "It's like they believe they can't lose." The lead scientist nodded slowly. And maybe that belief is their true power. In a dark corner of the universe, far from the cameras and news broadcasts, a secret meeting took place. 12 alien empires sent shadow agents to one room. Their mission, create a plan to stop the human rise. They couldn't trust each other, but they feared humans more. One suggestion, destroy Earth entirely. Another, build anti-resonant weapons. But nothing felt safe enough. Finally, one voice said, "They do not fear death. They fight with soul, with silence, with heart. What can we build that breaks that?" No one answered. Back on Earth, General Harlow stood at the top of Sky Command Tower, watching blue energy pulses rise from underground training domes. Young human teenagers, even children, were now entering the resonant program. They didn't need guns. They didn't need armor. They needed focus, stillness, purpose. Harlow's assistant stepped beside her. "The galaxy is scared." Harlow nodded. "Good. Should we show them more?" She smiled. "Not yet. Let the fear do the work." On Zortax Prime, Cade walked through the ancient garden of the council building. Flowers from 100 worlds bloomed here, untouched by war or lies. A young alien diplomat approached him. "Your people. They scare us," she said softly. Cade stopped, turned to her. "We didn't come to scare," he replied. "We came to survive." "But now," she said, "we wonder, are you just like us?" Cade paused, then said quietly, "No, we're not like you. We were forced to become more." He looked at a small blue flower glowing in the sunlight. "You left us behind, laughed at us, ignored us. So we studied in silence, and now," he looked up at the sky. "The silence is over." News broadcasts ran wild. "Earth has thousands of resonants. Alien fleets prepare for defensive war. Should we trust humans anymore? A viral message from an alien philosopher went across the stars. We never asked what humans would do when pushed too far. We only asked how long they could stay weak. Now we must ask, what kind of galaxy are we in if they become strong? On Graxia 5, a mining colony, an alien boy watched a replay of the arena fight. His father entered the room, still watching that human. The boy nodded. I want to be like him. His father frowned. You're not a human, but I can learn, the boy said. He didn't fight with power. He fought with control. The father sat down, slowly. Then maybe we've all been learning the wrong things. Inside the Council of Worlds, arguments continued. Some wanted peace talks with Earth. Some wanted to build a resonant wall across the galaxy to keep humans contained. And a few wanted to start a new war. But Elder Thalos, the being of light, stood in the center. The war already started, he said. The moment we laughed at their silence, he turned to a star map showing hundreds of Earth-trained humans hiding across the stars. They are not coming to destroy us. Not yet, but they are coming to remind us that no species holds the throne forever. Cade, now leaving Zortax, stood aboard a stealth ship. One of many, as the ship rose into space, his voice echoed across a private frequency shared only by the resonant network. He spoke just one sentence. The galaxy has noticed us. Now it must understand us. The rise of Earth, the galaxy, was no longer balanced. Old empires trembled. Strong alliances cracked. Fear had reshaped the stars. But Earth stood calm. It had waited for this moment, not to rule, not to destroy, but to be seen now. No one could look away inside the Council of Worlds. The 12 leaders gathered again. The room felt colder, quieter, no more shouting, no more jokes about the weakest species. Instead, there was silence. On the center table floated a report. Earth. Resonant activity expanding. 312 agents detected in 48 systems. The Korgan warlord growled. They are spreading like fire. The turned diplomat nodded. Fire that does not burn cities, but ideas. What do they want? Asked another. Elder Thalos, glowing softly, answered, they don't want war. They want recognition, respect, space to rise. The old council had never feared any race until now. Above the Earth's moon, a massive human-built station floated in orbit. Fort Solus. The galaxy didn't know much about it. Only whispers. They said it was a training ground for resonance. A place where silence turned into strength. Inside, rows of humans floated through zero-gravity halls, meditating, sparring, studying. There were no commanders yelling, no loud machines, only focus, only purpose. General Harlow walked alongside Cade through the crystal-lit corridor of Fort Solus. Other worlds are watching us now, she said. They watched us before, Cade replied. They just didn't care. They care now. Cade nodded. Good. He paused beside a window, staring at the blue planet below. So, what's the plan? She asked. Cade didn't look at her. We wait, he said. They'll come to us, one way or another. And he was right. 1 week later, 3 alien fleets moved toward the edge of Earth-controlled space, not for war, but for negotiation. Each carried flags of peace. Each ship broadcasted the same message. We are ready to speak. We are ready to learn. The first to land were the Velari, a race of floating beings made of light and sound. They bowed before Cade in a quiet chamber. "We judged you wrongly," they said. "So did we," Cade replied. "That's why we waited." The Velarei asked, "Will you lead us?" Cade shook his head. "No, Earth does not seek to rule. We seek balance. And if others don't want balance," Cade answered simply, "then we show them what silence becomes when ignored." News of the meeting spread quickly. Other planets followed. Some begged for human training, some offered alliances, some still whispered war. But one thing was now certain: the humans had risen. On the dark side of Zoreth, a cold and ancient species, Drakenol held their final meeting. They had ruled through fear for centuries. Now they watched videos of human soldiers meditating in fire, lifting objects without touching them, and destroying tanks with only their minds. "They have become something else," said their leader. "They have become the storm that waits in silence," whispered another. The Drakenol made their decision. They would retreat, and for the first time in 600 years, they would not be feared. Meanwhile, Earth built the Resonant Accord, a new interstellar agreement. No species would be mocked, no world would be left behind, and no silence would be mistaken for weakness again. Many worlds signed it. Some did not, but all of them watched. On a peaceful alien moon, Cade stood before a gathering of young aliens and humans training together. He watched them with quiet pride. They came from planets that once hated each other. Now they trained side by side. A small alien child asked him, "Master Cade, will there be war again?" Cade smiled slightly. "There's always someone who chooses war," he said. "Our job is to end it before it begins." One by one, the old empires stepped back. They had ruled through size, ships, and sound, but Earth taught them the power of patience. Focus will dot in 3 seconds. Everything had changed, but in silence. Earth had prepared for centuries now. The galaxy didn't laugh at humans. They listened, they followed, they learned, and slowly the stars began to feel different. Not ruled, not feared, but balanced. Back at Fort Solis, Cade wrote one final message into the Resonant Archive. He spoke it aloud as he wrote, "We did not rise to conquer. We rose to remind that even in silence, power grows, that the quiet ones learn the most, that when you strike the smallest, you may awaken the strongest." He closed the book and walked away.